Hey guys, I'm doing a little bit of work on the 210 today. I'm replacing this light. I got another Kessel light to swap out. What I came here to talk to you about is the Big Fish deal. Holly and I went on a little Valentine's Day trip to the Big Fish deal, and I'm going to tell you all about it. It's coming right up, right after this. Hey YouTube, this is Pecktec. It's hard to believe that it's already been, 2 weeks since the Big Fish deal? I really had a lot of fun, and I think Holly did too. We go to a lot of conventions. We've been to quite a few of them individually. We've done a lot of, fandom-based conventions, you know, a lot of steampunk stuff. And if you've been following the channel for a while, then you probably already realized that. Now, over the years, I kind of lost interest in those, like the steampunk related conventions. But I've really come to like the fish ones. In particular because it's a great place to meet up with some of your friends that are also in the hobby. So you can compare notes, you can, or just talk about, you know, whatever's new that's interesting to you. And I promise I'll get to the coverage in just a second, but I just wanted to preface by saying this. This type of convention is so much different than the aquatic experience. And that's not to be a dig on either the aquatic experience or the Big Fish deal. Let's just say that these two entities are just fundamentally different in so many ways. You can't really compare one to another fairly. So the big heads up on the Big Fish deal is that it is a great social occasion. It also has a number of events that you will find charming and fun. There are quite a few things that I did not get to cover as much as I would have liked, and at least one or two things I normally cover that I didn't make it to at all this year. One of those things being the Give a Kid a Tank contest, which I always try to catch. I absolutely missed it this year. I was kind of hoping I could catch it later, but I think perhaps I waited just too long and the kids had already picked up their tanks. There are also a lot of great speakers. I got to go to dinner with a couple of them and hang out. They all seemed like really nice fellas. I tried to make it to at least a little bit of each of the speakers. So I had fun. I got to hang out with John from KG Tropicals and Jay Wilson. I don't get to see them at a small event often enough. And of course there was the King and Queen Cichlids, Rachel O'Leary. Mr. Something Fishy himself was there. So there were actually quite a few of us to talk some YouTube shop talk and stuff. Now the first day that we traveled there, we actually went to see a fish store. Holly and I went off to do a fish store tour, and that's going to be its own video. Now the hotel room that we stayed in was actually really nice. The first thing I noticed that was sort of different than the previous years was that the hotel was kind of scaled up a little bit, I thought. It ended up being a really nice room. A little bit nicer than I was expecting. We had a long drive.
Long drive.
And we're just kind of getting settled into the hotel room. And it's really, really nice. Before we mess it up too bad. I thought I'd just kind of take a peep around. Of course, we've already got everything we could think to bring for a 2-day trip. Where did Holly go? I hear her. Holly? What are you doing?
Just checking out my outfit.
Oh, big mirror. Nice bathroom. It's good. Looks pretty. All right, we're gonna go take a look around and see if anybody's setting up yet or whatever might be happening. Holly's favorite thing is to stay like really high up in the air, and she'll say she doesn't like to do that, but I can tell she loves that. Vertigo's great. So as Holly and I went downstairs, one of the first events we saw really happening was the Aquarium Beautiful contest. And it's always interesting to see that particular part of the show. People bring aquariums to the convention, their own stuff, and they set it up, and they just try to do a unique and beautiful aquascape, and they have sort of a whole range of different categories you can subscribe to. But it's always fun to see the neat projects that people bring. Let's take a quick look at all of that. The other thing they have that's a little bit different than a lot of shows is sort of a limited amount of vendors. The people that came had really great stuff, but there's just like this wall of people kind of around the periphery of the event. And then in the middle of the ballroom is where they'll have whoever's speaking or whatever demonstrations going on, that happens there. One cool demonstration that they did was sort of a dueling aquarium Aquascape with Rachel O'Leary and Jennifer Williams, and they had a lot of great advice to give out between the two of them. I filmed just a little bit of it. I couldn't film all of it because it was actually a pretty long presentation.
So full of tannins that anything that has higher light requirements would fail to thrive and die out anyhow. So I really choose things that are, this will help reduce the hardness of the aquarium, and it's also nutrient rich for your stem plants. It's a really wonderful.
You said that's a banana stem?
This is a banana stem.
Okay, off a regular banana?
Banana tree?
Banana tree?
Yeah, not the one
Not
at the,
that
yeah, but it's what
right?
I would assume. I really like these for shrimp. In my shrimp aquariums, these are one of my absolute favorite botanicals because all the little baby shrimp get all in the stem. These two tend to get a little bit soft and pliable quicker than some of the others. Leaf litter you'll generally need to replace about once a month, maybe a little longer, but most of these other thicker, heavier botanicals can last months to years. So you may scoff at the idea of paying $5 for a pod that like fell in the jungle and someone threw in a box. But the reality is especially these thicker botanicals, again, they're going to be, I use them as feeding dishes, especially in my shrimp aquariums, but they're also great spawning surfaces. And I chose these in particular because apistogrammas like to go inside places and guard their babies, and you should be able to cover the entrance to that cave with your thumb so that they can guard their eggs or fry adequately. So I stuck some of these in there because they'd lay their eggs on the roof. I'm going to lay some leaf litter over it, but it allows them to have that correct hole size to be able to guard their eggs.
If you go to the Big Fish Deal and you're staying in one of the hotel rooms or something like that, definitely check out the hospitality suite. A lot of people come there to hang out, tell stories, and just have a good time with each other. It's pretty cool.
Are you going to sleep?
Maybe 15 other people.
As long as you just clean, use your finger as a guide.
Without warning. Now they have a great event on Sunday. It's called the Marketplace, and basically all the club members come together, and probably a few vendors too, and they come out and they sell their fish, their plants, and wood and everything like that. If you saw the other two videos, my most recent videos, you know that my main goal is basically tracking down driftwood and some plants that I got a good deal on, and I couldn't let go. They do a lot of other fun things that you'll see at a lot of other fish shows too, like for instance they did a raffle. I've won things there in the past. I unfortunately didn't win anything this year.
513930.
513930. We didn't win.
Hold $50 and number 6. 35, 35, looking for 40. 35, 40, looking for 45. 40, looking for 45, looking for 45, looking for 50. $50, 45.
That's kind of like a horizon, like a dubious, it's probably endangered in the wild, and say cut down.
Come on.
Alright, what's the $10 bag still there? $10 over, $10 bill bag still there. I got $10 here, 12 here, 14 here, number 16, 14, 16, 18, 28, 28, number 30, 28, back number 30. $42 over, $42 over, $40, back over, $42. $40 start now. So we got $20
Wow. Lot number 190, we got a wild caught, frontosa, Centralabia frontosa, donated by E2 Aquatics.
Then of course, you know, that last event is the marketplace. And that's pretty handy because there's a lot of fish changing hands right there. Of course, from what I hear, people are trading fish all throughout the weekend. And I brought, just in case I saw a fish I couldn't live without, I brought an air pump and a cooler. So I was ready to bubble some water and make a little makeshift something to keep the fish happy with until I got back. mission for wood and assorted wood-like items. But these guys always have neat ceramic stuff. You're my wood bearer.
I won.
They can get pretty big. The females are larger than the males, but at this stage it's really hard to tell the gender. I gotcha. We've been talking about that, right?
Thank you very much. So cute. I brought you more wood. You're welcome.
Oh yeah! Come on! I got one more. Did he both win? Holy shit!
I did. I don't know what I mean, I'm in Stafford. I'm not gonna drive to Maryland and trade it out. So.
What you wait on, Alex?
Sorry?
What you wait on?
I am trying to get myself some pygmy sunfish.
Oh, really?
A native tank that I am in the process of setting up.
What do they need?
Well, the nice thing is they don't require heaters.
In short, I had a great time at the Big Fish Deal. My only regret is that I didn't shoot very many interviews, or really any interviews at all while I was there. But I did think it was fun going there with Holly on Valentine's Day and really just embracing the spirit of friendship and fun that this super club meeting provides. I'll tell you one thing that was really special to us was all the people that came up and said hello and that they were fans of the show. They recognized Holly and
Recognized me on my own, by myself. That was so exciting.
So Holly hasn't been to a fish convention since like the YouTube thing kind of started to get a little bit bigger in the fan base. So she was quite surprised to see her husband. You know, a few people know who I am.
Yeah.
So that's
Happened occasionally before, but no one's recognized me by myself. So that was pretty fun, and for the people that did that, wow, thank you so much.
Yeah. Big thank you for the ego boost as always to our fans that come up and say hello and want to tell us, like the nice lady who told us the restaurant to go to, thank you. Yeah, that really meant a lot to us, and we thank you guys. Everybody that came up to say hello, thank you so much.
I have to do this more often. I'll be the star, guys.
All right, that's enough, honey. Goodbye. And well, friends, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that I probably should mention that I haven't, but I got to tell you, it's the kind of event you really ought to go to and just check out. Okay, so if you're curious about the show and you'd like some more information, I'm going to put links in the description down below where you can find out more, maybe in case you want to check it out next year. We fully endorse it. We had a great time, lots of fun. So of course, while we were out of town, we had to go see if there's a local fish store that was in the account. So we went to a really cool fish store, and that fish tour of that store is coming up next week. Till then, follow your bliss, keep a clean tank, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
That's me. I do 100% of everything. I didn't realize. I thought you just worked for him. Oh man, now I got your lens greasy. I didn't know that.
Wilson nasal smudge on your lens now.
One thing I got to see that was really neat was Jen Williams and Rachel O'Leary doing an O'Leary. That's not to. So why don't we take a quick look at just like the internal. Okay, so that being said. All right, so with that being said, let's take a little. And then in the middle they'll have just like. One of those things being the give it the kid. So of course, okay. Next week we're gonna, of course.